calling the Police Review Board of Iowa City to order at 5:30. Could we have the roll call, please?
Jensen, McConnell,
Here.
Mekas, Atkins,
Here.
Schwint,
Here.
Downing, and Hobart Collis.
Here.
Okay.
Okay. I'm asking the board to consider a motion adopting the consent calendar as presented or as amended.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Do we need a roll call for that?
What's the
No, I
next
think that
page?
goes
Yeah,
down
we
after
do.
Step 4.
We do. Step 3.
Oh, step 3, okay.
Yeah, step 2 is if you guys want to discuss anything.
Okay, all of these titles of the different material we got, is that part of the consent calendar?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion on the floor to accept the consent calendar.
Hey.
Can I just call for the vote, or do you need to call roll?
This is a roll call.
Okay. Does anyone want to discuss items on the consent calendar? No. Okay.
Already have a motion?
I'm asking
Yes.
for roll call.
Okay, roll call. McConnell,
Yes.
Mekas, Atkins,
Yes.
Schwint,
Yes.
Downing, Hobart Collis,
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Okay, I'm asking the board to consider a motion to accept correspondence from Mary McCann. And that was on the table when we came in.
Yep.
So moved.
Second.
So do I have a motion?
Melissa motioned.
I just motioned and
Colette
Colette
seconded.
accepted.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Roll call.
Well, no, this one is just all those in favor, all those opposed.
Oh, okay. Okay,
So-
good. Then all those in favor of accepting Mary McCann's papers?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, they're accepted. All right, new business. We have follow-up questions from the November 12th meeting. Oh my goodness. My name's on all 3 of the subjects. Aren't I the inquisitive one? Okay, I was a little concerned about people thinking we weren't being, using intensity. And I think the people who brought it up must think we're not using intensity, or why would they have brought it up otherwise? And I just want to get us all on the same page.
I don't recall the usage of intensity, the intentionality. I remember that coming up at a following meeting. And I think that stemmed from my kind of asking the group about how in the past they've reviewed the policies that come through, because it seems like they're received on the consent calendar, but I was looking for more information on how the board moves forward with an intention to go through those policies, essentially line by line, to fully understand them, look for any recommendations they may have, or more officially sign off on the policies that, as written, this makes sense to us, we understand it, we agree with this.
Okay.
And it doesn't seem like that had been done in the past.
No. No, it hasn't. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, being intentional about it, right? Absolutely. There was no intentionality in the past in sort of having a regularly scheduled review of all of the policies on on some type of schedule. So, yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I don't remember the word intensity either. So maybe it was just a,
It was being intentional.
be intentional.
Yep.
But yeah.
Okay, so it has to do with the policies that we get from the police rather than how we determine our, when we go after Jerry. Rather than when we elaborate in an executive session on how we proceed to work through a case.
Yeah, my recollection of this, the usage of that term when that came up, it was all about how we move forward and look at the policies, review the policies, understand the policies, and just more officially work through those. Had nothing to do with our review of complaints or anything.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Okay, I got this question answered last week about the verbiage that communications not required by law, rule, or procedure that are made to a government body or to any of its employees by identified persons outside of government, to the extent that the government body receiving those communications from such persons outside of government could reasonably believe that those persons would be discouraged from making them to that government body if they were available for general public examination. That's an awful burdensome sentence. But I was, Pat said that they'd be handled just like any other complaint. Is that right?
Well, that language that you were reading there comes right out of the code. There's a couple of code sections that talk about open records meetings and open meetings law and open records law. So this is the standard that applies when you're wanting to prevent something from becoming a public record. So that language comes right out of the Iowa code.
Okay. All right. And I also just wanted to discuss, I have seen descriptions of us as commissioner or as board member, and are we actually board member? I mean, it
Yeah.
says we're a board
Right.
in our description.
I can respond to that. You are board members. The use of commissioner was a goof when Kelly and I were talking. She's used to, because hers on the city council are commissioners. So as we were talking about some stuff, she was just using that. And that's why I had put it. But she knows that you're board members. It was just a goof. She was just using the wrong term because she was thinking city council. So you will never see commissioner again. It will always be member or board member.
I just like to have things, make sure that
Yeah.
we're all on the same page.
Sure, sure.
All right. Legal counsel contract.
I'll step out when you discuss this.
Okay.
And I assume
We'll
as
talk
you
about
step
it.
out and we discuss this, you are interested in renewing your contract?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You can talk about it in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
It's optional if you wanted to or not. So yeah. Did you guys? I sent you
I
that.
said all that.
Okay. So let's see here. Oh, here it is.
Okay, so the chair asks the board to consider a motion to retain CPRB legal counsel Ford and extend his contract for an additional 3 years with an increase in the hourly rate from $200 an hour to $250 an hour.
It was after the agenda, so keep going. You got a ways to go. It's after all that too. There it is. So that's basically the only change to it is yep, he's asking for 250.
Is there, I mean, is this the standard, the contract is the same as it's been in past years?
Yeah. Yeah, it's at the very back here. It's after all the policy stuff.
Well,
And we just need to be
Go
aware.
back a couple. It's right there. I see it.
the rest of
Yep, there it is. It's the city memorandum.
that one page,
We
okay.
just need to be aware that if we make phone calls to him, he gets paid $250.
Phone calls, emails, yep.
Yeah, all that kind of thing.
And he looks through all this when I send that over to him. And just FYI, this will be his, if you extend it, this will be his last 3 years. At the end of the 3 years, you guys will have to go out and seek new counsel.
Why?
Because the code or whatever is, I mean, the attorney only gets to go for so long before it's time to go out and,
Another member from his firm, however, could
yeah.
apply for a position.
Sure.
And it's, we've been through this a couple of
Yeah,
times.
yeah, because we'll have to get a new RFP or RFQ, but that's handled in our office. You guys don't handle that part. And also just FYI, there has not been a rate change since 2014, so it's been a while. Just to let you know. So basically, you guys just need to say, I'll do a roll call if you, yes, want to extend his contract and pay him the $250 or no.
With a 25% increase kind of in his fees, is there any budgetary concerns, or is the budget sufficient to
Yeah.
pay this? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other, I mean, and for purposes of the board, so the other thing that the chair does, and I don't know that that gets talked about a lot, but the chair gets an invoice or is given an invoice from the city that the chair then has to review that invoice and sign off on it or not. And a couple times I've asked questions.
Right.
When I've gotten those invoices, because one, they're not every month, and two, there are charges on the invoice that this board is not aware of. So I think it's just, and it's not wrong, it's just,
Right.
like Jerry mentioned, not calling him directly to ask a question is important because there's a charge for that. He reviews every packet ahead of the meeting. There's a charge for that. He is here at this meeting, sitting out in the lobby. There's a charge for that. And so I think it's just important that we're aware of those charges because we don't see those. So if somebody said, hey, Pat, will you watch the video? That's not wrong. There's a charge for that, just so that we're all conscious of that. So,
Right.
I don't have any reason not to say yes to this, and I feel like I'm voting for something I don't have a lot of context of, right? I think your question was good about the budget, right? Can we actually pay to the increase?
If
And,
it wasn't, I mean, if that was an issue, it wouldn't be brought. I would not have supplied that information to you guys.
Okay.
It would have been, nope, and 200 is all that can be done. So it's not an issue.
I imagine.
I mean, if you would decide not to continue with him, then we're gonna jump to having to go out then and find.
Got it. And that all makes
So,
sense to me.
yeah.
Let me articulate this differently. I think he seems to be doing a fine job, right? My experience is very limited.
Right.
And so I think that's what I'm suggesting is I'm happy to support him
Yeah.
continuing to do this work. And I'm doing it a little blindly because I
Right.
haven't been on the board
Exactly.
very
Yeah.
long. And I
And
don't
you're
have a
David
lot of
Butler.
context regarding
Right.
sort of what this work is. And so
Right.
I just think that's important to acknowledge.
Right. Yep.
I mean, I think that's fair. That's why I
Yeah.
mentioned the bit about the invoicing, because my guess would be the majority of the board doesn't know that happens. You shouldn't have to worry about it, but be conscious of those kinds of communications. There are charges for all of that.
Which is typical.
Yeah,
Anytime
Right,
there's an
that's
attorney.
any
Yep,
attorney,
that's
yeah.
typical,
yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And I imagine that that's at the low end of what attorneys charge.
Yeah,
I imagine they charge much more.
No, not really. Based on the experience, it depends on the practice.
Yeah, it
Right.
depends on
It
what the
depends on the
issue is.
practice. So some practices, certainly they get paid more, and some practices they get paid less. So, so I think that, just without much context, I'm okay to continue to renew his contract and move forward.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I'll make a motion
I'm happy to
accept.
second.
We have a motion.
and a second.
Okay.
Colette accept, seconded.
So I'll do a roll call here. Saul, Colette,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Ricky, Jessica,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes?
Jerry.
Yes.
All right. We'll bring him back in here and you can give him the good news.
Maybe he really didn't want to. I don't want to work with that.
Keep an eye on his face.
Did I just see an eye roll out there in the lobby or what?
You have been rehired.
I was gonna say, good news, you're stuck with us for another 3 years.
All right.
I kind of said he rolled his
Well,
eye
thanks,
at me. It's like,
All right.
Do we have any old business?
None.
None.
It says none.
Public comment of items not on the agenda? No? Okay. Board information.
I had asked, Connie and I had talked, asked her to put an item on the agenda and just slipped through the cracks. So
Yes.
Dave and I, after the last meeting, had a conversation. I think, Pat, you were involved as well out in the parking lot. So we were good. There's only 2 of us. So we weren't a quorum. But talked about how there used to be a template at one point in time about the writing of reports to try to help provide those guidelines and that information. And Dave volunteered to work on a draft, or I think you called it a run book.
Yeah, the run book would be the instructions
Yeah.
on how to utilize the draft
Yeah.
for consistency of
And
reporting.
so David volunteered to work on that and put something together. So if we could throw that on the next agenda, so.
So for writing reports, you mean the public report
yeah.
or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So on the board, after we review something and we go through and then we write the draft, it seems like we have some conversations that we used to use one at one point to try to help board members that aren't used to writing reports, like how to draft certain portions, language, right?
Great idea.
So if we could, does that sound fair?
Yeah,
Put it on
that
the
So you're
agenda
gonna
next time.
draft a template then?
He's gonna draft a draft.
Yeah, I think that would be that for next meeting to discuss what we want that draft to include and how to be structured. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Staff information.
I have none.
If I can just direct you guys to the website again and look at the policies are being uploaded as we speak, so there'll be more than the last time. It's communications got on us because we did similar to them, what we did to you guys, and just dumped a bunch of policies on them. So it's going to take some time, but it is happening as we speak. So it's a work in progress.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So item number 8, meeting schedules and future agendas. The next meetings are January 14th, February 11th, March 11th, and April 8th. Does anyone have a problem with any of these dates?
I have no known problems.
Do either of you have problems with any of those dates?
I don't think I'll be here on March 8th, but that's to be determined.
April 8th?
April 8th.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
I won't be here March 8th either, but yes.
Okay. All right. Do we need to change that date then, or what?
I'm not, it's not 100% sure at this point, and so
Okay.
it's okay. I think I can miss two, right? 2 meetings a
Yeah.
year.
I think it's 3 in a year before you get in trouble. Before you get the naughty list.
Stick to one, hopefully.
Okay.
And I think, and we're okay, even if you weren't here, because as long as we have a quorum,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, then I'm calling for a motion to accepting the meeting schedules.
No, you don't need a motion or roll call if there's no changes. If no conflicts, then just move on to item number 9.
Okay, I'm asking the board to consider a motion to adjourn to executive session based on section 21.5, in parentheses 1, parentheses A, of the Code of Iowa, to review or discuss records which are required or authorized by state or federal law to be kept confidential or to be kept confidential as a condition for that government body's possession or continued receipt of federal funds. And 21.5, parentheses 1, parentheses I.
Jerry, if I can save you something here, I'll make a
Everybody
motion.
read
You
it
don't have to read it. You don't have to read it. I'll make a motion to adjourn to executive session.
Just like to be sure
Second.
everything's in.
Okay, got a motion, got a second?
All those in favor?
Good job with it.
Aye.
Back to open session at 6:25. Need a motion to set the level of review on case 2407.
I'll make a motion to set the level of review at 887B1A.
Second.
All those in favor?
I need to do a roll call again.
Oh, yeah.
Any opposed?
To do roll call,
Okay,
I think.
yeah.
We're doing a roll call versus.
Yep. And, right. We also need to do the summary dismissal of
Right.
2406,
Yeah, I
so.
see that.
Okay, so, Melissa motion, Colette seconded to set the level of review. Okay, so,
And I also need a motion.
let me do the,
Gotta
I
do
wonder if I can do one roll call for, no,
The
I
roll
better,
calls,
yep,
yeah, the roll calls
Okay.
after both.
yep, so Downing. Hobart Collis.
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
McConnell,
Yes.
Mekas, Atkins,
Yes.
Schwint.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this next one is also happening.
Yes.
Okay.
So you'll do. Yep. Step 1. There we're
Okay.
done.
The chair asks the board to consider a motion to accept CPRB report of summary dismissal for complaint 2406 as presented or amended and forward to City Council. I need a motion.
I will make that motion.
Thank you. And I need a second.
Second.
Thank you.
David.
Okay, now we need a roll call.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on here, please. Okay. Okay. All right. So, Jensen,
Yes.
McConnell,
Yes.
Mekas, Atkins,
Yes.
Schwint,
Yes.
Downing, and Hobart Collis.
Yes.
All right.
Excellent.
I now ask the board to consider a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion.
Second.
All right.
Oh.
Need to vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the meeting's adjourned.